Final round. It's been a minute, but I'm back. You guys, I've been tied up, and the reason I've been tied up, I got a huge opportunity presented to me. I'm actually going to have my first mixed martial arts fight. Obviously, I love boxing, and boxing comes first, and I'm going to continue fighting in boxing. But, I'm going to dip my toes. I'm going to take a little break from boxing and dip my toes in the MMA realm because that's something I've always wanted to do. It's been on my bucket list. And I got this opportunity presented. I got a fight in July, and be on the lookout. I'm going to come out with a docu-series, if you want to call it that. I don't know what else to coin it for the sake of discussion and moving it on. But it's pretty much going to follow me through camp. It's going to show kind of the process I'm going through to make this transition with little to no experience in the mixed martial arts world. I'm just coming with boxing. And, it's going to show some sparring footage against other professional fighters within different realms, whether it be kickboxing, pure MMA. Obviously I'm still going to be sparring and boxing. Just kind of following the process, showing the weight cutting and, just everything it entails. So it'll be pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to drop the videos before July or after, but be on the lookout nonetheless. And I also want to apologize. I'm probably going to have like somewhat of a lisp in this video. And if I'm talking weird, it's because I got a cut in my tongue from sparring. So it's kind of hard to talk properly right now and pronunciate things clearly. But we'll get through. And I know I'm a little late on this video, but I want to talk about Spence and his performance against Ugas. Now, I looked at this fight through two lenses pretty much, right? The first one was just like a general perspective, a broad general perspective of what I thought. And I thought that Bud did spectacular. Spence did spectacular. He did his thing. He performed beautifully. Especially when you take into consideration all the hurdles he had prior to the fight and during the fight. I mean, we all know what happened with the car accident and the eye injury and having to pull out a Manny Pacquiao fight, seeing Ugas steal his glory. That was supposed to be Spence getting the torch passed down to him. During the fight, he dealt with a little bit of ring rust. He had to get in sync, in rhythm, and execute his game plan. Even though Ugas was giving him some fits in the beginning of the rounds, I actually believe Ugas was the more of the ring general in the first few rounds of the fight. I believe Spence looked very uncomfortable, and it took a little bit for him to settle down. And Ugas did. I did actually come out with a prediction video. I just didn't post it. I didn't tag it. And I had Spence winning this fight. But I said that Ugas was going to have small moments to frustrate Spence, which he did, particularly in the beginning of the fight. And furthermore, Spence got buzzed. Whether you agree with me or not, he got buzzed. The rope saved him. He did a little stanky leg. He lost the whole mouthpiece controversy, which we got to talk about. I mean, we got to talk about this mouthpiece thing because I think there's more to it. And I want to talk more about him getting buzzed. But regardless, he still found a way to win in spectacular fashion and get the job done. And that's what winners do. And that's what champions do. And I thought in a general overall sense that Spence performed spectacularly. But then when I look at it through the lens of Bud Crawford's shadow, like, how does he stack up against, how did this performance convince me that he can beat Bud? And I'm just keeping it 100, you guys. It did not convince me. It did not convince me. I'm sorry. This has nothing to do with favoritism. It's unfortunate that boxing's so political right now. We always have to preface every conversation with that. But, this has nothing to do with fanboying. I like both guys equally. And I say that genuinely. A lot of people just say that to kind of compensate, right? So they don't seem biased. But I genuinely like both fighters equally. Okay, I'm not from Nebraska. No, you guys, I'm not a corn husker. And that includes Texas. I'm not from Texas, so, I have no dog in that fight. I don't have an agenda. Nobody's paying me. I don't have that many subscribers right now, that anyways. I don't know why anybody would be paying me to push an agenda or push a narrative. None of that. Absolutely none of that. The fact of the matter is, I'm calling it like I see it. And for me, I have my parameters of judging stylistic matchups, and I do not see how Spence is going to beat Bud, with the exception, the one asterisk, that Bud gets old overnight. His age, that's the only thing that concerns me. But stylistically, I don't even get how people are so convinced that Bud is going to get beat by Spence. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be a good fight. I'm not saying that Spence isn't going to cause problems. But, I mean, in terms of boxing skill and IQ, I just think Bud is a step above Spence. And I think it's going to shock a lot of people. Do not be shocked if Bud walks down Spence at a certain point in this fight. Do not be shocked if Bud gets the upper hand in the pocket. Do not be shocked if Bud knocks Errol Spence out. Do not be shocked. I'm telling you right now, right here, do not be shocked. I'm telling you. Do not be shocked if little old Ugas can put EJ on Queer Street and give him the stanky leg. What the hell do you think Bud's going to do to him? What do you think Bud's going to do to him? And Ugas, he let him go. But understandably so, Ugas he doesn't know how to create offense. Ugas is stuck in the mud, okay? He has to set his feet before he throws punches. And he cannot initiate his own offense. He's very dependent. He's a counterpuncher who's dependent on his opponent coming in. That's why he's always, making those silly faces like you saw it against Porter. Or, he's always showboating, or what do you call it? Kind of baiting his opponents in, sticking his tongue out or dropping his hands. He's encouraging his opponent to come in so he can counter them. He doesn't know how to create offense on his own. So it's no wonder why he couldn't push the action against Spence when he hurt him. And Ugas did a good job in the beginning of that fight of causing some problems. Now, was that more a result of ring rust from EJ's part or the stylistic matchup? I would say it's a combination of both. Ugas did a good job of countering, intercepting Spence as he was coming in. But there was at some point in that fight to where Spence bit down on that mouthpiece and does what he does best. He turned into a bully. Because in the first several rounds, Spence was kind of boxing off the back foot from the outside. He looked a little out of it. But Spence did what he does best. He bullied it. He bullied Ugas. And that wasn't really an adjustment, you guys. Some people would say that Spence made the adjustment. He didn't make the adjustment. He settled down and he did what he does best. He bullied his opponent. At the end of the day, Ugas was a nice matchup for Spence because Ugas is not going anywhere. He's not going to be able to stick and move and box off the back foot and move when he needs to. But Ugas did some nice things like I said he would. He hurt Spence to the body a few times. It's unfortunate that he didn't keep on going downstairs, but that's not his game. He can catch you with some body shots, but he's not going to go down there consistently. And that's exactly why I knew Spence was going to take over the fight eventually. The volume and the body shots was going to catch up to Ugas eventually. And Spence was going to finish the job. But Ugas is not even in the same realm of Bud Crawford. And you guys are going to figure this. Hardcore Spence fans are going to figure this out. There's levels to this mental game of boxing. And you got to stop falling in love with the physical part, the physicality part, the toughness part, the power part. Even though Bud has all of those things, you got to stop falling in love with it. You got to get out of your emotions. I know some of you are from Texas, okay? Or you're PBC fans or whatever the case may be. But take the emotion out of it and look at it for what it is. There's levels to this mental game of boxing. Spence is very good at what he does. He's a southpaw pressure fighter. That's a nightmare of a style to deal with, folks. It's a nightmare. And if you're going to be one-dimensional, that's one pretty damn good dimension to have. And more fights than not, 99% of fights that Spence goes into, he's going to win. But it ain't happening against Bud. It ain't happening. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not going to be a good fight. I'm not saying he's going to wash Bud. But people are going to figure out there's levels to this mental game of boxing. And Bud is on a different level mentally. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, you would always see these, these bouts with like Frieza or Goku. And then, or Vegeta and Frieza. And then, Vegeta would be getting his ass whooped for 1 second by the bad guy, and then he would start laughing, and he'd be like, yo, you thought that was my final form? And then he would just level up and turn it up a notch. And it's the same thing with Bud. You're going to find in that fight that Spence going to have his moments, and they may be early. It may not even, because you saw with Ugas the problems he caused early on in the fight. Imagine if that's Bud. But let's say Spence does get off to a fast start. At some point, Bud is going to turn Super Saiyan. And he's going to laugh and say, oh, you thought this was my final form. No, I got 4 more after this. And Spence ain't going to know what to do with that. Because he only knows one thing. And that's be a bully. But you're not going to bully. You're not going to get away with that with Bud. You're not going to get the bully. You got away with bullying Ugas. The dude ain't got no feet to move. He's going to be there like a damn refrigerator. Easy target to the body. It ain't happening with Bud. And Bud's a sharpshooter. He's a sniper. We got a machine gun versus sniper. Okay. Now, I would say one thing I will give Bud the advantage on. I do like the volume of his body attack. I think if he can really get that volume downstairs on Bud, if he can land those body shots on Bud, that will drastically change the fight. And that's why we all want to see this fight. We want to see who's going to execute their game plan better. It's a great fight. I'm not saying it won't be, but I'm sorry. There's levels to this shit. And I don't think the size is going to be the end-all, be-all like people think it is. You thought that with Usyk versus AJ. Now, I told people, why are you putting so much stock into size? It's about skill. Size matters when you can match it with skill. So, that performance did not convince me. Now, if I saw EJ go out there and he was boxing off the back foot and he was making all these adjustments, he was controlling range perfectly, and, he was doing all these different shades of things, then I'd be like, oh, shit, Bud's in trouble. Bud's in trouble. But the scary part for EJ was he did what he did. It took him a while to do what he did best. And one of the things that he's banking on in this fight with Bud, if it happens, if it goes down, is that Bud gets off to a slow start. But if EJ gets off to a slow start, it's going to be over for him very quickly. It could look like the Kell Brook fight with Bud Crawford if he gets off to a slow start. There's just too many things. It's not even just the switch hitting of Bud that's going to be a problem. Okay? It's the fact that he has so many different tools in his arsenal to make you have to reset, to make you have to think, to slow you down, to get you out of your rhythm. And you just, every time he does that, now you have to figure out and reset and find his timing. Look how long it took for EJ to find the timing of Ugas, who's a solid counterpuncher with no footwork. What the fuck you think is going to happen with Bud when he's constantly changing it up on him? You know, and we got to stop this. Yes, Bud has been hurt. We've seen him get stunned before. But he gets stunned because he takes risk. Okay, he gets caught with some big punches because he takes risk. If you want your fighters to go for knockouts and take risks, you got to understand, they're going to get caught in the process. It's inevitable. Same thing with Boots. Oh, Boots doesn't have good defense. Yes, he does. It's just that he's taking risk to get that KO. And when you do that, you're going to get caught. I don't care how great your defense is. If you want your defense to be perfect, you fight like Mayweather. You fight like Mayweather and you don't take chances. But if you want a KO, you're going to compromise your defense to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, if Ugas can hurt Spence, what the fuck you think Bud's going to do to him, who's a killer, who's a finisher? And I'll tell you what happened with this mouthpiece, you guys. Because I was actually going to sparring and I had to go get a new mouthpiece because I left mine at home. So I couldn't boil my mouthpiece in hot water to imprint it to my teeth, right? I lost my mouthpiece that sparring session because it wasn't molded into my teeth, onto my teeth. I remember when that happened. I'm nowhere on Spence's level. I remember when that happened. Not at one point did I ever lose my attention off my opponent and try to grab my mouthpiece. Okay? Not at one point did I even think about picking it up. My focus was fixated on my opponent and I was ready to fight. And I wasn't going to pay attention to that mouthpiece until we were broken up and somebody picked it up. I wasn't even going to pick it up. Somebody come in the ring and picked it up and gave it back to me. And that's me. I knew better than that. Protect yourself at all times. You telling me Earl Spence, Texas boy, doesn't understand that? You telling me that? He wasn't aware of that? So what comes into question is two things. This is obviously, if you pay attention to the sport, a veteran move. You saw AJ do it against, I want to say, Andy Ruiz, where he spit his mouthpiece out to buy more time because he got hurt or he got knocked down. You saw it. Or who knows, maybe he was quitting. But I think it was to buy more time with that circumstance. You know, I'm not saying EJ spit that mouthpiece out for sure. But I do think he got hurt because I watched, I think it was the 6th round. Ugas landed some beautiful, beautiful punches. I think he landed a right uppercut once or twice. He landed a right cross. And then when the ref told him to stop, I think he landed another right cross. That was the one that buzzed him. But I think he may have been buzzed before that. And I don't know if he spit that mouthpiece out because he was hurt and he was trying to buy time. Or here's the alternative that I might think. He may have spit that mouthpiece out because he was so out of it from being buzzed by one of Ugas's punches. And that is not bullshit. That is the dead ass honest truth, you guys. It's 100. And why do I say that? You see it in the UFC and MMA all the time when guys get hurt and they get knocked down and they're so out of it that they'll tackle the ref. They'll take down the ref or they'll swing on the ref because their minds just boggle. They're concussed. So a part of me was wondering if he got hit with something by Ugas in the middle of that round to where he got concussed and he wasn't thinking straight and he went diving for his mouthpiece. It was just like a reaction, but it wasn't a rational reaction considering he had somebody across from him. He should have waited for somebody to pick up that mouthpiece or the ref to do it. Why would you try and pick up your mouthpiece with a glove? Think about that. Why? Why would you go diving for your mouthpiece with your gloves on? The ref usually comes and picks it up. So it was either Spence was trying to buy time because he knew he got hurt, or Spence got buzzed and was not thinking rationally. And his instinct when his mouthpiece come out was to go chase it. Now, we know Spence was hurt in this fight. Ugas did not capitalize on it. So I'm just saying, you guys, what the hell do you think Bud is going to do to him? It's going to be too many adjustments. You know, if this was a smaller guy coming up in weight who didn't have the power, then I might be able to see your argument how Spence is just going to walk him down and have his way with him and bully him like he does everybody else. But we know Bud is knocking shit out of the park coming up. That's the scary part. So he's got the skills, he's got the ring IQ, he's got the ability to adjust in so many ways. He's a switch hitter. He can do it all, man. And the scary part about the switch hitting is this, is that it exponentially increases the ways he can adjust in a fight. It changes the positional bout. When you can box, as an orthodox fighter, when you can box off the back foot, front foot, in the pocket, you can brawl a little bit, which he can do, you know. When you can fight on the inside, all these different shapes, counter, volume punches, punches and bunches combination. When you can do all these variety of things in one stance, and then you can also do it in the other stance, the southpaw stance, that gives you so many ways to adjust in a fight and add weapons to your arsenal. That is terrifying. Because there will always be a way that Bud can adjust in the fight. Spence's best shot is to start fast, pour on as much volume to the body as possible, and hope he can get down to the body. But there will be counters waiting for him. And there will be counters down to the body as well. And Bud is just as powerful, and he has better punch placement. If Spence doesn't start fast in that fight, it's going to go very downhill quickly. Oh, y'all will learn. I know some of you are Texas boy fans. You know, I know PBC. Yeah, I know you are. But I call it straight down the middle, you guys. I call it just boxing. This has nothing to do with me favoring Bud. I'll tell you how much I think Bud has a tough fight with Boots Ennis. You know, I just call it like I see it. And y'all are going to learn for this one. Well, at least the ones who think Spence is going to win. But I wasn't that impressed in terms of looking at this fight through the lens and the shade of Bud overshadowing it. And for people complaining about Bud not showing up, he didn't show up because he had concern for security issues, and understandably so. He's coming to Texas. He's coming to Spence's hometown. Why would you want to bring your family in that type of environment? Why would you want to get threatened? That's not a good time. There's lots of logistics to that, too. You got all those damn kids and family. You got to buy them tickets. And, you know, I know Bud goes to these things, but it probably really discouraged him that there were going to be security reasons or security concerns that weren't going to be accommodated. It's not the type of environment you want to be in. The Charlo's probably going to run over there and start shit because they're always starting shit with everybody. You know, that's not the type of environment that he probably felt he needed to be in. Now, hopefully we get this fight. We're over here sitting here talking about this shit. Hopefully it happens by the end of the year. And if not that, at least we get it at some point in time. But I did notice, I was a little bit disappointed in the stoppage. Okay, the doctor stopping the fight initially. I didn't know that Ugas had a broken orbital. But it was not till after the fight the camera panned over to Ugas' corner, and Ugas' cut man, the famous Stitch Duran, comes over. He just gently touches Ugas under the broken orbital on his cheek, just gently. And I saw Ugas's reaction. It was very abrupt. It was very extreme. He pulled away. He reacted very harshly. He was very uncomfortable and very agitated that Stitch Duran touched his face. And that's when I knew. I didn't need the doctor's diagnosis. I didn't even know what was going on. But I knew in my head when I saw that reaction from Ugas that his orbital bone was broken. And then I pulled back and I said that was a great stoppage by the doctor. There was nothing that was going to come out of Ugas continuing. Yes, it was the 10th round. I predicted that Spence would win. But, you know, there was no chance. No chance Ugas was going to win that fight, even with 2 more rounds left. There was nothing that he was going to do. That I was closing on him, knowing that it's a broken orbital. It would have only gotten worse. And that right eye is perfectly lined up with Ugas's power hand. It would have been a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. You know, there's nothing that was going to come from that fight if it continued. And Ugas may have taken permanent damage as it is. You know, it's the same thing with Bud and Porter. There was no reason for Porter to continue that fight, especially knowing the career that Porter's dad knew he had after boxing, and he was retiring right after this fight. There's no point. There's nothing that Porter was going to do to win the fight. And it was only going to go worse from that point, and the punishment would have been stacked on, and you just don't know what can happen. You know, all it takes is one punch to alter your life, and that's coming from one of the best finishers in boxing. Porter has a life after boxing, a commentary career, a podcast, and it's dependent on his ability to string words and sentences together. Now, he gets back up and gets the shit kicked out of him. You know, all it takes is one bad series to be screwed for the rest of his life. So, good stoppages with Ugas, good stoppage with Porter. We got to put things into perspective. But that's what I thought about Spence versus Ugas. And a general overall view was a spectacular performance by Spence. But when I look at it through the lens of Bud Crawford, the shadow of what he can do stylistically, I was not convinced that Spence is going to do anything that's going to help him win the fight against Bud. I do not think size is going to be the end-all be-all. The only exceptions I have or asterisks are Bud getting older and the body work of Bud and the volume of it may be a big factor. But that's why we want to see this fight. Nobody knows 100% for sure. Nobody knows. And it's going to be a good fight regardless of what any of us think, an entertaining one. And that's why we want to see it. This is your boy Havoc, Final Round. Tell me what you thought about Spence and his performance against Ugas. Do you think he can beat Bud? Do you think that performance showed that he can beat Bud? So comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you're a new subscriber. Cheers, welcome to the family. And cheers to my current subscribers. Let's build this thing up. We getting back in the game. It's your boy Havoc, Final Round. Get at me.